Okay, we are right back with you folks. Looks like the runners just went for it, and we're on it right away. So, shortest of short breaks, we are already into this RBO race.
Yep.
Big
I'll
shout
be right
out
back. I
to
need to grab something from the freezer before it freezes.
Oh boy.
All right, hold it down for me real quick.
Absolutely. Big shout outs to Gesture here for keeping us on track and getting things squared away for us. A little bit of a hiccup here. MM2's stream has been struggling just a little bit.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. Had to grab a certain kind
Oh,
of...
that was just syncing. That wasn't actually... Yeah, thanks for that, Gesture. I should have figured that based on the timers. So just a little syncing action here, and entering Ridley. Boy, the howdy. The next time we see Ridley, he's going to be a lot more dangerous.
Yep.
Already pretty dangerous in any percent, especially with Fantune first. We are going to get a much more volatile and dangerous Ridley fight. I don't know, probably another 30 minutes from now or so.
Yep. Eddie is asking in the race time, how do I play this category again? So that may not bode well, but we'll see.
Spoilers here in the chat from MM2 saying that I might recognize the route MM2 is running. That might be an allusion to the fact that MM2 will be running the route that I used for this entire tournament. I selected a route that gets an extra tank and an extra powerbomb pack from a visit to landing site early, doing Gauntlet and then the pullout spark. Was that a dead even 45.98 for each runners?
I looked down.
Oh no, that was it was a 46 for Eddie. Sorry.
Okay, 46-45 for Eddie.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, time to get lost. So this is gonna be probably pretty funny.
Yeah, Eddie, just think if this is a map rando that's forced hell run.
Pretty much. Yeah, this should be good. You know, Eddie, throughout the tournament, whenever he had to play RBO in a match, he was doing progressively better every time. So, I think if he kept sharp and kept up with a bit of practice, then I think he should have a good shot for keeping up at least. And yeah, well, he's been slightly ahead, probably because of the slightly fast. Well, in part the slightly faster series, but escape. But even after getting off the ship, he was moving a bit faster as a whole, up until he bonked there in the pit room.
Yeah, I think he was probably just checking for the arcade secret. He does get the extra 1,000 points for that at least.
Yep. The CWJ and the landing site always makes you raise an eyebrow in the arcade.
All right, and just like that, mm2nescartridge takes the lead here with a couple uncharacteristic mistakes. There was the little pit visit from Eddie, and then missing the fast item grab there on Morph.
Yep. Yeah,
See what kind of route Eddie is running here. I cannot recall from earlier in this tournament what the loadout was that he was using for RBO. Do you recall, Ryan? I think you have a little bit better memory for this. You saw more of those RBO races.
I honestly forgot. I think it's been a month since I last saw him do RBO for a tournament match.
Okay, well, let's hope it's not been a month since he's run RBO, because that probably wouldn't bode well for him. I mean, I expect both runners to do something like a 25 super route where they enter with, 7 or 8 E-tanks into LN and play things a little safer. I definitely do not expect that we're going to see a 30 super Ridley. I don't think we're going to see a double Meridia. This should just be a double LN. Or double Norfair, rather.
So. I think so. I think I remember seeing a match where someone did only a single Meridia visit versus another person who got a lot of like extra safety items and like, oh my gosh, I think it was like a 20-minute gap just from like how many extra items the opponent was collecting. But
Not
I
a
can't
great
remember.
mistake there from MM2, but does manage to back it up on the second D-boost. Eddie opting for the more optimal getting the missile pack first, and then this D-boost is going to carry him across the room, so this is really nicely done here from Eddie. That's going to pick him up a little bit of extra time. And did a nice job there to get both of the missile drops, and essentially he's going to be full up here going onto the elevator.
Yeah, so that also means that not getting scammed by BT. Because you, what's it called? Yeah, like you don't have to farm, right?
Yeah, I mean, usually you can get missile drops without too much difficulty here, either in pit room or on the first pirate as you go up climb.
True.
But it certainly makes things a little bit more straightforward. But they're still pretty close here. It's 5:27 coming through the door, maybe about 4 seconds behind here from MM2. So that is not going to be a whole lot in an RBO race that could be decided by potentially minutes, depending on how things go. But so far, so good. We're pretty tight, and both runners opting for awakening the planet and going back down for that retro Brin tank.
Yep. No taco tank. Can't believe it.
Yeah, clearly Hitbox is not everything if you can't get free taco tank.
Yeah. Come on. Or maybe
no,
they're throwing.
No. We got nothing but love for these runners. Yeah, throwing for content? No, I don't think so.
Yep.
Pretty good bombs time, all things considered here. Just low 6-0x bombs time for Eddie. Nicely done.
Yeah, so this should be a clean farm since I have 5 minutes of search, of course. Starting out. Alright, there you go. Ready. Alright, MM2 getting his. And yeah, for what was I gonna say? I often mix this up with North Korea, but yeah. So yeah, RBO you don't you don't moon dance like normally in a run, right?
Well, certainly not in a race situation. If you're moon dancing in RBO, you're doing single Norfair because essentially there's no way realistically to go and get the super pack that you need for your 25 supers. Normally you get those by going to climb. If you're doing moon dance, you're skipping climb supers because you're doing single Norfair, which means you're not getting speed and coming back up into Criteria and Brinstar. And so as a result, there is not that climb supers pack available to you, and the maximum supers that you can take into Ridley at that point is 20, and that's the world record route. And you just don't do that in a race situation like that. Even if you're, Zenny or Zos would be running double Norfair also.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's why the reason why Moondance works for North Korea is because you don't have that. You're not right. You're going to LN later with gravity, and you don't need to worry about the difficult Ridley fight. So it's just not an issue.
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, so really early into this tournament, when I was studying up on all the categories that I don't run, for the most part, I usually watch the world record for the category. So usually the route is different compared to what the racers have been doing for like compared to world record like strats for a lot of them, like RBO, North Korea, yeah, GT Max even.
Pretty close race here. Still in the same room here, right above the Decora pit. I don't know, what is this, 5 to 7 seconds, something like that?
About, yeah.
Yep. So we're nice and tight. MM2 did get a little bit better drops and was able to manage health to where he's already started filling up his reserve tank. Filling reserves is going to be pretty important, so he'll maybe save a little bit of time there, being able to do that. It shouldn't be that significant, though. It tends to be a little bit more important in other categories, but sometimes depending on how you decide to farm, the extra health in reserves can be pretty important to save your butt in your first hell run when you go to do your first trip to Norfair.
Right.
Okay, so we'll get a double charge beam farm here. Eddie does pick up that 20 health. Doesn't really do much at this point because you're essentially going to take a bunch of damage here and then wind up just refilling your health to full at high jump boots tank. MM2 in a slightly different situation could have potentially put a little bit more into his reserves.
Yep.
Yeah, and so this is going to be a really interesting difference here because Eddie is going to opt to go up. This is actually the PB route that MM2 does, which is to go up first, grab alpha power bombs, and go down. MM2 instead is opting here for going straight down, and what he is going to do is a full counterclockwise cleanup of Brinstar and Criteria, where he's going to delay his first power bombs until he goes back up Red Tower. And pick up beta power bombs, refill at the ship, and then get the extra gauntlet tank and power bomb pack at Criteria power bombs. Whereas Eddie's going to pick up this power bomb pack, go down, and then he's going to do a slightly different cleanup where he is not going to be coming back up Red Tower at all.
Gotcha. Okay,
he'll probably go through the. Yeah, he'll probably end up going through the wave gate through Green Hill Zone. And then cleaning up through Retro Bryn and Climb Supers.
Okay. So I'm assuming that since Eddie is getting less, then the routing would be a bit faster? But like less safe?
Yeah, we'll have to see what he ends up doing. It looks like he might be running a route that's going to give him one less super pack. Excuse me, one less energy tank.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to see him go into Gauntlet. It really is. Yeah, I mean, it's about a minute faster. It depends. Eddie certainly will be picking up Waterway tank here. Theoretically, MM2 could skip it, but if you're going through the effort of running the route that he's running, which is the route that I ran for the duration of this tournament, the whole point is to get an extra E-tank and to play things a little bit safer. That extra E-tank realistically gives you, an extra hit somewhere in LN, and even though it costs you, 30 to 60 seconds, depending on how things play out, the fact that it can straight up save your run from death is a really, really big difference.
Yep. So yeah, I think Eddie just wasted a super on the Sova. I might be wrong though. It's only half looking. Nice super drop from that Sova though.
Yeah, so we'll see. So far, so good. Yeah, MM2 going safely here on the bottom. You don't want those squeeps to potentially hit you. Just needs to get into Bubble Mountain cleanly and is well over 100 plus in his reserve, so he's in very, very comfortable shape here. Still needs to be a little bit careful. This Batcave room is always a little bit sketchy, but with 102 plus what's in reserve, he should be just fine. Let's just check and make sure he gets to the farm spot.
Yeah, as long as you don't slip into the lava.
And there it is. He took the hit, but with the extra health that he had because of how things were so clean, he was in good shape. What's the story here? Barely anything. I can't tell exactly what Eddie has in reserve. Somewhere between 5 and 15 energy. So essentially, if you don't manually pop that reserve, it really is kind of meaningless because you're only going to have. You're going to lose more in the time it takes you to pop the reserve than you're going to get back. So he really just needs to be clean here in Rising Tide. Oh, wow, and going for the top. That's really aggressive. If you get a bad pattern from that squint, you can be in... Oh, my God! Holy! Okay. Without gravity there, it can be really, really problematic if you get down into the lava there. Fortunately, Eddie is okay and has just about 100 with what's in reserves. Should be just fine to get to the farm spot here. Just needs to execute. Nicely done.
Really
okay.
Used to it,
My goodness gracious. That was just a little hiccup at the end there that could have been absolutely devastating. Eddie managing to pull it out and keep a cool head. And yeah, we're going to see that MM2 is a little bit ahead here. Clearly, you can see getting this farm after having picked up speed already. The difference, of course, MM2 still needs to go up Red Tower, and then we'll go through Gauntlet. So Eddie will be ahead, assuming everything goes cleanly for both of these runners through the rest of their cleanup. But it's just going to be an issue of whether or not Eddie is going to be able to execute at the highest possible level to actually manifest the difference of not going to Gauntlet and not being, being down that extra E-tank, essentially.
Yeah, that first Batcave farm, man, Eddie's was so much shorter than MM2's compared.
Yeah, well, it looked like MM2 got a little hung up on that single tile gap coming down and needed to turn back. Oh no! Oh boy! This is why you don't turn around. K goes through the platform, but manages to back it up very, very quickly. That is
Yeah,
not
that was
easy to
really
do.
fast backup. Holy moly.
Okay, holy smokes. Might have to pop the reserve here, but should be fine to survive. Yeah, and there's the manual reserve pop. That is scary, though. Holy smokes. Okay, and we saw the same thing happen to Eddie there on that tail end of that farm. Got a little hung up trying to do sort of the quick drop through that one tile gap. Needed to go back for another farm, and being ultra safe here, picking up both from the CAC and getting the big drop, the energy drop from the waiver. Really, really nicely done there.
Yep. Getting blessed by the waiver with that large one, because it certainly wasn't a guarantee for the drop. King CAC, though, was yeah, it was guaranteed since full on supers, so.
Yeah, now we should see MM2 completely skip any farming here. You're going to essentially refill the ship on this route, so there's no reason to farm, and he's already full on supers. And he's got plenty of health here. 101 exiting the Hell Run is great. The only thing you have to make sure that you do is not take so much damage that you could potentially die to death at beta power bombs from a big hopper hit. 106 here is pretty comfy, though. He should be just fine. And you're usually in health bomb range, and then you just refill at the ship with the charge spark, and then you go up to criteria landing site power bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one of the nice time saves that you get is you have power bombs already, so you don't have to go through the maze. So Eddie will make up a little bit of time here and probably will go straight across. Yeah, okay. There's a couple routes where you go to Croc first here, but and then you actually you sort of save instead of saving grapple for later. But we're gonna get a sort of a standard route here, and I expect a green hill zone cleanup for Eddie.
Yep. Yeah, between the items you get in Croc's area, you pretty much you need a grapple to answer that in chat. So they will eventually go all the way down. Oh no, the spazer! Oh, never mind. I lied. Okay, yeah, so M2 is doing the down grab strat. Never mind. I thought he was going for the hero shot there, but he was just getting his charge ready, I think. Or like the shot storage from like the spin jump for wall jumps.
Okay, good job not getting hit by the zeros there. 119, still pretty comfortable. He'll be under 100. We'll see how he decides to handle beta power bombs. Yeah, and here's the green hill zone wave gate for Eddie. Just needs to be a little bit careful. In a race, I tend to take this a little bit safer and just use the rando power bomb strat, but you can opt for the more aggressive hundo strat where he actually... Yep, and it looks like he is going to be short charging here, so he really needs to hit this. Okay, nicely done. Good.
Boom. I love that strat.
Okay, and we're actually not getting the... There's a couple ways you can cut this. There are runners in the top of the leaderboard that will go through pink Bryn first versus blue Bryn. There are some differences. In the end, it kind of comes down to resource management. Blue Bryn is a little bit trickier. There's, going into that room with the hoppers where the Blue Bryn power bombs are can be really, really sketchy. And so this is definitely safer because you can pick up some health drops here and then go to the wave gate and you should be just fine.
Yep. All right, Eddie back to full with this E-tank now. I forgot the name of this room. Is it Waterway?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the ship refill. You just mash B here and cancel out the save, and then just use that shine spark. That timer does not run. It only runs on in-game time, so it does not run while you're in the ship here.
Yep. Look at this. Launch.
Eddie getting a little hung up trying to do that hundo block clip coming out. Nice little setup there.
Yeah, my bad. I was looking at... we were both looking at, like, opposite runners.
Yeah.
Yeah, route divergence, so... Alright, Spore Swan supers. Effectively skipping the Spore Swan completely now.
Yeah, you could always come back for him later, I guess. It's kind of like saving the animals, but like more advanced tech.
To go and finish the job.
That's right. You do see Spore Spawn appear very, very late in the any percent all bosses, which made an appearance in the last multi-category tournament in their community. Sort of the last thing that you clean up in any percent all bosses. But we will not see Spore Spawn here.
Yep.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Okay, okay, okay. Got the short charge, which is the hard part, and holy smokes. Like, I mean, things can get kind of rough there because you're sort of floundering around. You've got acid chewing at your heels. You don't have gravity yet. That could be really, really sketchy really quickly, but fortunately MM2 pulled it out and got that pull-out spark. Nicely done. And here's the sort of where these routes are going to wind up converging. The difference being that MM2 will have spent this time to go to Gauntlet and get that one extra E-Tank. Nicely done there by Eddie, by the way, getting across that Takora pit with the blue speedball. See how MM2 handles this iceless setup for Climb Supers. I opt for something a little safer here. Wow, the D-boost, yeah. I mean, that can go, it can go really bad if you get stuck under one of those buoyants. It's not GG's, but it can be really, really bad. You need to essentially burn a bunch of supers to get up and out of there, or try to K go through. I opt for something a little bit safer there, specifically for races, where what you actually do is charge from right to left, and then get a blue suit to get free. Getting blue suit and going across the buoyants is completely free, and you have more than enough time on your Shine Spark timer to get up there. What MM2 did with the D-boost is much scarier and a little bit more dangerous, but it's a couple seconds faster.
Makes sense. Missing that one bomb. We all make that mistake. Alright, didn't get to see Eddie's wall jumps on the Eddie-kun's room. But... I love looking at like wall jumping for that long, just with like nothing in between. It feels so, I don't know, like clean for some reason.
Yeah, yeah. So for those of you, by the way, who noticed that Eddie's processing time in the door leaving Eddie-kun's was like a full second plus. Essentially, when you miss the speed entrance, the mock ball entrance from that power bombs, those Eddie-kun cries get logged and sort of backlogged up in the sound queue, and he did not leave a power bomb that can actually clear that sound queue, and so that was one of the longer door transitions that you'll see in that room.
Yep.
Okay, and I expect that this is just for Climb Supers here for Eddie. This is how you usually finish this cleanup. There's really no way that you get Gauntlet in this case. Yeah, okay, so you're just getting Climb Supers. You're going to go down. You'll finish going through Blue Bryn, this time except with a lot more health, and then Ice and Grapple, and that's where the runs will converge at that point, going down to Croc.
Oh my gosh, he broke the game with that moonfall.
A little unfortunate with the hiccup. We're also losing game audio. But fear not, we've got the dulcet tones of Ryan Ford and Professor School taking you through the action, even without game audio. We got you here.
Yep, super already collected. And, yep, I don't know where MM2's going. You'll have to cover that one.
Yeah, so essentially what you're going to do here is you're going to clean Pink Bryn. There's a couple different ways to do it, but the way that he's doing it is just fine. So you're going to pick up the Spore Spawn Super Pack. You're going to pick up that Wave Gate energy tank. And there is an option to skip Waterway, but again, as I pointed out earlier, there's just absolutely no reason to skip Waterway. The whole point of going to Gauntlet and investing that minute to do that is so that you can have the extra tank. And in a race situation here, the bank, the wager for MM2 is if Eddie executes completely and wholly, he'll just straight up be ahead coming out of LN, but he has a much narrower capacity for any kind of errors whatsoever in LN because he's going to be down a full energy tank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it could be more dangerous.
The Croc tank is going to be his 7th. MM2 it'll actually be his 8th. And so they should have, I think, all the same resources otherwise. 25, 20, 20 probably. And then the 25th super pack will be the GT pack. Yeah, and here it is, sure enough. MM2 picking up this waterway tank. This is just the point of running this route, essentially.
Yep. And yeah, Eddie. Yeah, I guess he's definitely used to rough like hell fights, like with Ridley and stuff, with like map rando.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the Ridley is certainly an issue, and the tank affords you the capacity to take, you know, like an extra hit. In fact, in my 109 PB, I'd take a hit like from Ridley as the fight starts because I was too close setting up my first X Factor. And so I made that the thumbnail of my video, but like that run dies without that E-tank. The thing that's actually more consequential for me for Eddie here is all of the other RBO movement that you don't get in something like a map rando, where you won't have the extra tank at any other place in the GT fight, in the very long hell run from the refill post GT to the Firefleece tank, and then obviously the escape. So there's just a lot more places that things can go wrong, and you're right to point out, Ryan, that you know the Ridley fight should be pretty comfortable for Eddie. Obviously things can go wrong, but it's just it's the entirety of the LN movement, I think, that that extra tank just allows you the potential for issues in so many other places, or gives you a little bit more freedom, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, it's so easy to make a mistake like anywhere, and it could just cost, like, straight up cost you if like one spot goes wrong. So, all right, go for the backup escape here. Oh wait, I lied.
Yeah, you're going down here through Croc Speedway, so you don't need to worry about it. This is a little sketch. I has not been paying close enough attention, and this is one of the advantages here that MM2 will have. He's going to come through with a lot more health because he just picked up that water tank now. Eddie picked up that water tank very late, and as you saw, he went back and farmed a little bit. He should be just fine, but oh no, oh dear, okay. It looked like he was deciding to try to CF and then realized, oh no, I'm actually fine. But boy, howdy, that could have really cost him if he didn't quite figure out what he needed to do there. The brain farts often are what kill you in an RBO run. You know, you think that okay, shoot, what's the threshold? Can I make this? Yes, I can. And by the time you actually make the decision, you're out of your rhythm. You know, the enemies in the room have moved, something's changed, and all of a sudden you're in really bad shape. And now Eddie needs to be very careful because, holy smokes, just use charge shots. Eddie, just use charge shots. Oh my gosh. Holy smokes, folks. I mean, absolutely making us sweat this out. Throwing for content. Eddie, my goodness, my dude. I'm assuming his reserves are full.
Yeah, I have no idea, because, yeah, exactly.
You need to pop your... Well, okay, is he just leaving the tank behind? What is he doing? He's trying to figure it out.
Oh, so is he going to grab it later, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it's just straight up slower. I mean, I guess you don't. Oh, I see what he's doing. Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! No! Oh, get up! Ah!
He's alive. All right.
Okay, folks. So what happened there is Eddie did the very smart thing of running back for a little bit more running room, and just straight up missed the jump input. Fell off the platform, and fortunately had full health and did not panic, but was down to, what was that, 22 health? My goodness gracious. This is RBO, folks. Hold on to your butts. Holy cow.
The game. Right there. Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, again, so easy to like, make mistakes or just lose it all to something. Drop it down, but making it back up for this power bomb now.
Yeah, and so the routes have converged at this point, as you see. MM2 does have that one extra tank, and otherwise I think they're even. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's 25-20-20 as far as the ammo counts for the ammo max for both runners. Let's see here. We can use grapple for the for a sort of comparator between the two. I mean, Eddie obviously ahead because of the one less tank. He didn't go to Gauntlet, but we'll just see about how far ahead he is. Even with both runners executing perfectly in LN, it's still going to be pretty close regardless. But let's see what this timer is. A little hiccup there for Eddie.
Oh my goodness, that was
29 2x flat, 2920.
Yep. So yeah, taking like a minute, but
Oh wow, chat cluing us in that Summoning Salt got the first ever, world's first 159.97 against Tyson. Holy smokes! Congratulations, Summoning Salt. That is incredible. What a really cool feat. Cool to have that breaking news here in the middle of the broadcast.
been lurking some his streams of that grind, so that's cool that he actually got it.
Okay, so this is it's about 40 seconds, by the way. 40 seconds difference here. And this is pretty good for MM2. This means that, realistically, this could have been as much as a minute. The fact that this is only about 40 seconds, I think, bodes pretty well for MM2. And this is the next question I was going to ask you, Ryan, is whether we were going to see a safety save before a lava dive. And in fact, we do see the croc save here for Eddie. I expect to see the same for MM2. I think it's bonkers to not save before a lava dive. If you've gone through the effort to get the extra tank, maybe you think that gives you a little bit of extra wiggle room and you don't need it. But like realistically, I think you just take the save here.
Yeah, because this otherwise this is like MM2's last game if he loses, so might be thinking he's gotta go for it all, right?
All right, here we are, 30 minutes into the run. This is what we've been preparing for. One tank less, full 25-20-20 for Eddie. MM2 is at actually one missile pack less. He did not pick up the high jump missile tank. That's the difference. So Eddie has 25, MM2 has 20. And that's actually part of the reason why it was not a full minute difference. And now a very slow setup here from Eddie, being very careful. Holy smokes. Very interesting setup. He has to wait now and be very careful. Needs to be clean on that jump.
Oh,
no, that's
no.
GG. That is GG. Yeah, that is a lead change. So just like that, the faulty entrance from Eddie and the extra tank probably would not have been enough to save him there. You really cannot mess up that entry at all. MM2 going for the nice, very difficult short charge here. It doesn't really change much as far as health, but it gets you through across the room a little bit faster. Both runners did save, so if there is a problem for MM2, we'll just get another lead change. But this is exactly what MM2 wanted, and now not only does he have the extra tank for LN, but assuming he can actually get through here, he'll have a save at the top of the elevator before this GGG attempt on 10 supers.
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go.
All right, looking good. Looking good.
Nice, and that's a really nice minute, by the way, which Eddie did not do. MM2 jumped high enough to bring that Namahe on screen, and at the top of Lava Dive, and as a result was able to manipulate that into a way where the flame was just coming off screen as MM2 got there, and then able to do the wall jump up without needing the extra little baby wall jump in there. That really just simplifies things and speeds things up. So really, really nicely done. And MM2 getting the save at the top and having enough health that he can ride this elevator, pop his reserves, and then crystal flash. Eddie really needs this lava dive to go cleanly. Okay. He's through. He's gonna pop his reserves. Yep. And now he's going to have to CF before the elevator because he does not have enough to get through.
Yeah, so he's going to lose an extra, what, like 130 health or something?
On the elevator, yeah. Oh, MM2. Oh my goodness, it makes me so nervous when he does those so quickly like that. That drives me absolutely up the wall.
Yeah, instead of like respacing it, right? But managed to get it, what, like third try, fourth try?
Fourth try, yeah, fourth try. Yeah. Okay, so the only issue there is he did go down. He'll probably want to do an extra farm here in order to get all of these supers. Is he going to do one more here? Let's see. Often you want to be at full 20 here. Yeah, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yep. And yeah, so Eddie's turn to Green Gate glitch as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure why MM2 picked up that extra super. You don't need it there. There's actually 6 rippers there, and you only need 5. This will save time. This will save probably 10 to 12 seconds for Eddie because he's going to be able to get full after a single farm on supers. MM2 needed to do a second farm.
Yep.
Okay, and here's the GT fight. This is really critical. This first part of this fight is really critical because you cannot mess up this jump. So that's about the landing spot that you want from the left side of the room and a very clean way up there. So he should be able to get down and into position with no problem here, will MM2.
Yep.
All right, just wiggle close enough in there. Yeah, that looks like a pretty good setup for MM2. He should be just fine. Okay, Eddie going for the slightly more optimal here, picking up screw attack after the health refill. He'll have less health for the fight, but it is faster to do this after the refill.
Yeah.
Let's see how much Eddie, or excuse me, how much MM2 decides to farm on this fight here.
Ooh, Eddie missing that jump.
Yeah, and oh boy, Eddie needs to be so careful now because GT is already in motion and it's really hard to say where GT is going to be in this situation. And of course we get the freeze. For goodness sake. Eddie's stream just like struggling right now. Meanwhile, MM2 in great shape, both health and ammo. Should get a couple supers from the end of the fight here. Just the one, but then we'll be able, well, just the one is actually really annoying here.
Yep.
Because now you're gonna be underfilled on supers, unfortunately. Probably will be fine.
Ooh, Eddie has less ammo.
Yeah, six leaving is not ideal. I would choose to farm up a little bit more. He was in a rough spot though. He wasn't able to take as much damage, and I don't know exactly what happened at the beginning of the fight. He clearly did not take a hit from GT, because he probably would have died given his health situation. But things are just a little bit more dire. The PB count for both runners a little bit low.
Yeah, MM2 farming that one with the grapple beam there before he sparked.
Still, I mean, in this route, the way that this is run, you don't pick up the extra powerbomb pack, and you can always just pick up PB of Shame on the way out from Ridley. So usually you'll be just fine. MM2 having a little bit of issue there with Roast Room in the game, but again, this is precisely why the extra tank makes such a big difference, because you can make a mistake like that and pretty much not sweat it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because of the super count issue, Eddie losing a bunch of time here, being forced to farm up on supers, then go back and refill. Yeah, and now he's going to be full up on supers. Unfortunately, not using sort of the optimal strat here for farming. It's going to cost him a little health, and he's going to have a much narrower window for what he can afford to fail. Oh, and that is not great. Oh boy, yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about the whole time, Ryan. The extra tank just affords you more space to have problems, and Eddie is just losing time and health, and health is everything here in this route going to Ridley.
Yep. Yeah, that's really bad that happened. On the bonk.
Oh, and the bonk. Oh my goodness.
Quick recovery, but still again.
Did he get a good setup here? Leaving? Is he gonna be okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. He's just fine. Yep. I didn't quite get a look at where Samus's feet were. Oh no! Oh boy!
Where's he going? All right. He'll be fine getting out of here.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, just A-okay there. MM2 did take a couple extra spike hits. I didn't get a chance to point it out. There was so much going on. Took 1 or 2 extra spike hits, so down about a tank and a half. But again, this is what I was talking about with the extra tank that he had. He could afford to do that.
Yep. All right, yeah, Eddie. All right, got the fire freeze tank now.
Oh, was it 4 spike hits, Kai? Oh my goodness.
4? Oh my god. Yeah,
okay, unfortunately, yeah, Eddie is going to take an extra hit. That's an extra 60 damage and killed the fire flea early and was not able to go back to it, that left fire flea there. So it's going to be even shorter on power bombs than he would have wanted to be.
Yep, exactly.
There's actually, the runners, you see them trying to like pull that fire flea on screen. There's actually a really nice strat where you can sort of moonwalk and wiggle forward, or like creep forward, and that's a nice way to pull the fire flea on screen. Meanwhile, MM2 getting insane drops here. What is this? What is this left to right spark to pick up the power bombs? Oh my goodness, MM2, my dude.
Oh my gosh.
This is really sketch. This is really sketch here. He needs to get across this room cleanly, and this is where the extra energy tank is going to pay off for him. He pretty much needs to just CF now. Oh my god, MM2. Oh my god, MM2. What are you doing? Oh my gosh, he's got nothing left in reserve. He cannot afford a single mistake at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's CFing here. He's CFing here. Oh my gosh, Ryan.
Oh. Phew.
Okay, so he did get the CF off, but this is ideally what you want to do is go and open. You want to open the door first and then come back. This is just going to put him behind a little bit where he's going to be losing a little bit more health and chewing into that extra E-tank that he had, more or less giving him no flexibility except maybe one extra fireball hit against Ridley. We'll have to see. You can theoretically farm up a little bit more with grapple after you're full on supers, but it's really, really slow to actually gain health on it. And every time you get a missile drop, you're going to lose a bunch of time back for the health that you have to try to farm up.
Because he's like
okay.
really far from full missiles, so.
Hold on to your butts. Oh, there's so much going on right now. Okay, so we're getting double X Factor setup probably from MM2 here. There's the first one. Gotta get this set up. Okay, he's down and under. One particle did hit the tail, but he should be fine. This should be 6 charge shots. Get out of the acid, MM2. Okay, okay.
This is tense.
So, okay, did not need to pop his reserves. He is okay, and it's going to be 6 full charge shots after he unloads all of his supers here. There's 2 so far. He needs a few more. Okay, okay, he's good. He's good. He's good. He needed 1 less than I realized he did. Okay. And he should be just fine. Let's see these drops. Yeah. No supers. No supers, so that's going to cost him a lot of time farming, because you really do not want to leave the pre-Ridley farm room without 10 supers and risk getting hecked by drops later in the run. So he's probably going to lose a bunch of time farming up to full here, but was able to get through cleanly, did not need the full effect of that extra tank, but that extra tank did give him a lot of comfort in actually getting to the place where he could CF in the Ridley farm room there. So nicely done there by MM2.
Yep. Now Eddie's turn.
MM2 should be fine on power bombs here because he's got 2 more, and there's a chance that you'll get another drop in these farms. If not, he can get power bombs of shame. Yep, and there's the 11th one. So he got an extra drop, and now he, well, no, what does he need? He needs 2 power bombs to exit, so he probably still is getting power bombs of shame, actually.
Tail ate one of Eddie's supers there.
Okay, he does have the extra missiles, though, to make up for it, and that's the benefit of getting the missile packet high jump boots.
True, true. Okay,
MM2 did get an extra power bomb drop. If he gets 1 more, he does not need power bombs of shame. Oh, doesn't get it. So he's getting power bombs of shame here. And gosh, the stream lag is killing me for Eddie because we don't know what's happening.
Yep. All right, he used some reserve, I think.
Yeah, and actually the reserves there, Ryan, is really critical because what that does is it means that Eddie's getting drops and not getting health bombed. That's really, really clutch there. He refilled on reserves just enough to not go into health bomb range. And did MM2? Oh, no, sorry. No, he did get the extra power bomb drop because you only need 1 power bomb drop to get out from Wasteland there.
Oh, right.
Yes,
right.
okay. Whoa, okay. MM2 almost used a power bomb there on instinct, and that would have been really bad because he would have then needed to go down and farm from the fire fleas, which would have been really slow. Fortunately, he did not do that, and now he has just enough power bombs for the Crystal Flash. Okay, so here's the deal. MM2 fully in control here. Is he gonna just take an extra hit? Yeah, okay, good. He got to the top of the room. There's the extra hit, and now here's the CF. So the situation of the race is as follows. Eddie was a minute behind at Fantoon in any percent, but clawed all the way back, got the win, took game 1. MM2 trying to force volatility here in this RBO, and was able to take a slightly slower route, getting an extra tank from Gauntlet. That extra tank has already paid dividends in a number of ways for MM2, especially with Eddie unfortunately messing up Lava Dive. That would have happened with or without the extra tank, but the state of the race is as follows. MM2 now clearly ahead and in the driver's seat. If he can execute for the rest of this race, he will force a game 3.
Yep. Yeah, still got a bit of a... What, Dragon RNG? It's like the next big thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's execution in a number of spots in Meridia. That, Suitless movement is so pretty, but it is not free. The Batoon fight is, can potentially go sideways. The execution in the Dragon fight, the RNG in the Dragon fight, and then depending on the health situation as you're leaving Dragon, in this situation, if MM2 maintains this kind of a lead, he can simply use the refill station after Dragon. But if you're tight enough, you really don't have time for that, and essentially what you need to do in that situation instead is you need to just execute and not take damage in wrecked ship without any of the suits.
And as he mentioned about going back down for fire fleas, power bombs, so Eddie.
So that was Penny, my dog Pennywise. Sorry about that, folks. Penny thought that her mom was coming home. No such luck for the dog. Sorry about that. She made a little cameo there. Oh, Eddie! Oh, Eddie, Eddie! Oh, no! Oh, my goodness. Oh,
Edward.
holy smokes.
All right, well.
Oh my gosh. And unfortunately, this is why you just want to take the hits, damage down the way MM2 damage down in Fire Fleas, and just take the CF at the top of the room. Eddie going through, and I guess trying to get further through. I mean, he had the power bombs he needed from Fire Fleas. I'm not sure why he didn't just damage down and CF earlier.
Yep, so I don't want to say it's over, but
yeah, I mean, and Eddie, MM2's certainly watching. Does still need to execute here in this climb up Main Street and not have an issue with Botchoon, but knowing the state of the race, should be able to save before Dragon, and barring some real disaster, should be able to take this one and force a game 3. He was already firmly in the driver's seat, but this really takes the pressure off MM2, who can take his time here.
yeah, exactly. Well, Suitless Meridia. Depending on who you ask, the most masochistic part or the most fun part.
I mean, it's a thing of beauty when you're executing Suitless Meridia cleanly. With some of these jumps that you can, these beautiful gravity jumps that you can do, morphing and remorphing and saving that momentum. I mean, you can do some very, very pretty things here. Obviously, the way you're killing Dragon, frying Dragon, getting the blue suit, converting it, or the flash suit, converting it into a blue suit. There's just so many beautiful glitches and movement bits that happen here in Meridia.
I don't know. But yeah, it's cool. It's like, yeah, exactly, like a wealth of like tricks and strats that are, like added on from like, not having gravity suit.
Yeah. So Ryan, I'm trying to go back and watch exactly what happened. There was quite a bit going on, and I want to make sure that I got this right and I'm not giving Eddie a hard time unnecessarily. Yeah, so Eddie goes down to Fire Fleas. He farms up to 12 power bombs, so he has enough to CF right then and there. And then he kind of inexplicably leaves power bombs with 72 health and his reserves not popped. And in that situation, like, realistically what you should be doing is taking the hit, damaging down, getting into CF range, CFing in the safety of the Fire Fleas room, and then just having a clean escape. I'm not sure what the benefit was. He didn't need the power bombs from the Alcuns in that situation, and it's kind of a risk that you don't need to take in that situation, and it doesn't really save you any time, because you're not going to get but a half room further before you CF, and if anything, you're just losing more health at that point because you're CFing in a heated room. So I have to honestly question the decision there from Eddie to not just CF, in the safety of the Fire Fleas room in the situation.
Yep. Saving the frames, but unfortunately paid in full. Trying.
Yeah, I'm paid in full. You're 100% right. I will say that the lava dive would not have been bailed out by the extra tank. The way that Eddie failed lava dive, there's just no recovering from that. I think you need like 2 or 3 extra tanks to recover from that kind of a failed lava dive since you're completely suitless.
Yep.
But I do think that the extra tank paid dividends in a couple areas, made things cleaner and a little bit less tight for MM2, and that decision to run that early gauntlet or that gauntlet cleanup route has paid off, and MM2 managing to do the thing just needs to execute here in Meridia. But again, barring some really serious disaster, I expect a save, even with a Dragon death, like it's. I mean, this might be 8-10 minutes apart at this point. So I expect MM2 to just clean up here and take this one and force a game 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I didn't want to say it's over, but it's probably over. Let's read it.
Yeah, I mean, the onus is still on MM2 to execute here, and so for that reason, and the volatility of, like these spikes down here, for example, if you get stuck in them, can just be instant GGs. Oh, wow. Okay. You have to do a crouch jump to get out of those, the sand there, because there's spikes at the bottom of that, and you can lose a ton of health very quickly if you don't get out efficiently. So that's just one of the things we were talking about. The volatility of Meridia here is extreme.
Yep. And there definitely were victims in this tournament.
Oh, there were. I was one of them. Against this very opponent, against MM2. But that Metroid freeze actually helped MM2 out of the sand. Instead of having to do the very tricky crouch jump where you have to essentially use your iframes and get the height of a crouch jump to get out of that spike sand, MM2 freezes the Metroid and then sort of uses that accelerated speed to get up and out of the sand. Damages down here to about 6 tanks. It's a little less than I would want to do, but should be just fine to have enough time to set himself up. He can even take an extra turret hit or 2. Yeah, there you go. Just take one to the face, and now he's just fine. And another one. Yeah, very nicely done.
Yeah, so it should be good before Dragon spawns.
Okay.
Ridley's whole setup is on the timer.
Yeah, Gestro is just doing a little reset here to try to get the stream maybe up and running a little cleaner. Okay, this is a critical moment here. So big shout outs to Nobody Nada, who did a very thorough analysis of the areas where Goop is by RNG more and less likely to hit. MM2 is actually in one of the worst spots there for Goop, but the right to left Goop pattern is much more forgiving than the left to right Goop pattern. And so as long as he can execute here, there you go. And then you have your flash shoot converted to a blue suit. Really nicely done. All MM2 needs to do is escape with this grapple jump, and he is absolutely rip-roaring. 647 health at the end of this fight is absolutely stupid. He's in excellent shape right now.
Yep. Alright, so
wow, 787. Yeah, I mean, there's just no messing this up. I mean, he's probably got like 4 chances at this grapple escape. And we'll see how he chooses to execute it. Most people will probably do a 2 bounce, but you can actually do a 1 bounce where you actually do the full length of the grapple, and it's like completely free. You don't even need to try to bounce at all. Let's see what MM2 opts for here. Little hiccup. Okay, so he's gonna do. Oh, he goes for the 1 bounce. Wow, that's really nice tech there from MM2.
Excellent.
Just needs to escape here. Okay, lines that up very nicely, and he's home free. I do expect to see a post-Dragon save here from MM2. There's really no reason not to, honestly. Yeah, full refill and a save. I mean, the hardest part of the run is behind you, and you just don't need to risk going into wrecked ship and having something go sideways. It doesn't even opt for the refill, which I think is fine. At 6 tanks, if he was down at 3 or 4 tanks, I would have expected a refill. 6 is pretty healthy, but you do have 0, you don't have any suits, and so everything hits for a truck still, and you could potentially have, a death that you take in the backside Forgotten Highway, for example, where all those pancakes are hitting you for 1,000,000 damage. Obviously, like Fantoon can hit for a lot suitless. These spikes do a lot, so there's some places where you can really have trouble, but he's at 6.5 tanks and should be just fine.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, Eddie's practicing Ridley and getting to Ridley a little bit. But,
well, Ryan, I'd say we're pretty much out of the woods at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
You probably get a save before Mother Brain also if you're MM2, just to completely avoid issues. Maybe you pick up Varia. That's the other thing that MM2 could do. I mean, he's ahead by just so much that all you need to do is finish out. You don't really care what your time is at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then the question becomes, I think it's fair to start talking about a game 3 now that Dragon and a save are behind MM2. I don't think it's too premature. So we've got 3 games left, 3 matches, categories left in the pool. Game 1 was any percent with a low percent ban from MM2. Game 2 was a max percent GT code veto from Eddie with a reverse boss order selection by MM2. And now we have 3 categories left. We have Hundo, where the 2 runners have almost an equal PB in the sort of mid 117 range, at least based on what's posted on the leaderboards. We have North Korea percent, which is one of the extension category boards. This is very similar to RBO in a lot of ways. And then we have GT Classic. So those are the 3 that are remaining, and it is up to essentially a roll of the dice which of those 3 we get for our Game 3 matchup.
Yep. All right, side bets. It's gonna be Hundo.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what either runner would prefer. They have very similar PBs for GT Classic as well. Now, MM2's GT Classic PB is bootless. I'm not 100% sure if the mid 34 that Eddie has is bootless or not.
Oh, I don't remember.
Or if it's with high jump. My guess is it's probably bootless. It's from quite a long time ago. It's from 2022.
Oh, Ridley.
And I do know that MM2 has a maybe mid, like a 34 2X or something like that with boots. So he has a pretty killer, even like boots GTC time. You know, I think he's on the cusp of what could be a 116 hundo at any moment. And I actually don't know, Ryan, are you aware of what these runners have posted as far as North Korea time is in this tournament?
Ah, I can't remember. I've seen Eddie do a few and like, oh jeez, is it a 58? I actually forgot.
Yeah, MM2 definitely has a better time. I think he has like a 56, which was the first time that he ever ran Moondancer out. He got that. It's not the world record, but it's a very, very good time. So I think in all 3 categories, we have the potential for a very competitive matchup. I would think that maybe North Korea is preferred if you're MM2, but that's just me sort of prognosticating a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
The 3421, by the way, the 3421, by the way, is bootless for Eddie. So they've got PBs in both of those major categories, GT Classic and Hundo, that were within about 30 seconds of each other. Whereas I think North Korea is a couple minutes better for MM2, and certainly Eddie has the capacity to get a 56. But in all 3 of those cases, we're going to have a very, very competitive Game 3, I suspect.
Yep. Damn, since Eddie's typing in chat, for you to hear me, what is his North Korea PB? So I honestly don't remember. So I think shoot, was it him versus Glove? Where they had like I think they had like a moderately close game. And I know they were both like 50 something, but I don't remember. If it was 58 or 56 that Eddie got.
Yeah, we do have the spreadsheet. We can take a look at historically what happened in some of these.
Okay.
What group were they in together? Was it Group C, maybe? Yeah, they were in Group C together. Or no, that must have been in the bracket.
I think, unless I'm saying the wrong opponent.
Yeah, the glove matchup was in the bracket.
Oh, okay. So it was Glove. Okay. But I think they both got sub-hour, but
Yeah, Eddie pulled off a 58-23. Glove got a 59-46.
Oh, okay. So it's 58, not 56. Okay. All right, so I did remember correctly that it was sub-hour, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah, and MM2 has what I believe is a low 56 in North Korea. I do expect both runners to be running Moondance if that comes up.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty hype, and it would be kind of like a nice iteration on what we're seeing here with RBO. GG Classic would obviously be perhaps the most volatile, if for no other reason that it has both Lava Dive and GGG back-to-back. And I think that's something that sunk Eddie in one of his matchups earlier. I think perhaps it was the win that Glove got. Glove ran a 38-42. Eddie didn't finish. I actually did not see that race, but I'm assuming
Eddie
the DNF
died.
was...
He
was
died
it
in the Lava Dive.
It was Lava Dive, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then of the 3 categories, the least volatile, of course, is Hundo. I think I have a hard time saying where, what category favors which runner the most.
Yeah, that's really a tough call.
But yeah, that final category, we'll see one of those three will be determined essentially by roll of the dice. There's an RNG, like a dice roll, that'll be done in the race room through the kind work of Kupo, who sort of put inertia all together for us, and we will essentially have a random roll of the dice, and then we'll figure out shortly after the end of this race what our game 3 matchup will be. It'll be coming up shortly after this here on Speed Gaming Main.
Yep. Not forgetting Kraid. Good stuff happening too. Yeah, and Eddie's shoes, I know he's just like playing still at this point, but I'm like wondering if there's like a category they could try to prepare for, if there's like strats that could cover your bases between those 3 categories. I assume they're all like too different though to like cover to have like one strat cover all kind of thing.
Well, I mean, and that's part of the challenge of this multi-category tournament, right? I mean, you go through Business Center in 7 different categories about 15 times, and every time it's a different strat in a different category. It can be really, really challenging to keep your head straight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like adding on, I know it was a while back, but as you were saying about when Eddie was a bit before the going down to Croc, then he made the split-second decision where he was thinking about maybe doing a Crystal Flash, like a bit after Ice Escape, but then didn't because he had enough health. But yeah, it must be like doubly hard when you're switching between categories, like thinking about making an executive decision like that.
It's extremely challenging, especially in the context of a race where you might already be a little bit nervous. You might be paying attention to your opponent. I mean, there's just so much that you need to keep straight in your head. You need to be able to make decisions on the fly, especially in a category like RBO, where your resources, as they change and the situation changes, you need to be able to make a decision on, how am I getting out of this situation alive? Essentially, it's just really challenging.
Yep. That's why, yeah, a lot of y'all through the tournament, like, so good. Like between switching like through that many categories while under the pressure of like being in a tournament match too. It's so cool.
Welcome in, Raiders. This is game 2 of our best of 3 series in the grand finals of the 2024-2025 Super Metroid multi-category tournament. Any percent in round 1. Eddie cleaning that off. Round 2 is RBO, selected by MM2, wanting the volatility, going with a slightly safer route, and it has paid dividends here. Eddie just not able to execute in a couple places that MM2 was. Really sort of a tale of 2 races. MM2 much cleaner in race 2, Eddie much cleaner in race 1, and that's more or less what has led us to what should be a 1-1 tie, forcing that rubber match, that game 3. Eddie, meanwhile, miscounting power bombs, going for power bombs of shame, taking a bunch of extra hits, and now, oh god, okay, he's fine.
Right.
It's gonna be tight, but he's gonna be just fine. Goodness gracious, got wrecked by that hopper. Yeah, and now this is the issue. Okay, I had to lay the extra power bomb, had just enough with 12 there, and is now going to save on the way out. This is pretty much, I guess, barring some disaster from MM2, but realistically, MM2 should just be saving before Mother Brain and never have a problem.
Yep. Yeah, so finally Eddie having enough of Ridley after the 7th try. He's saving.
A little bit more breaking news for everyone, by the way, not related to Super Metroid this time. For all you Survivor reality show stands out there, about 15 years ago in Survivor, a contestant by the name of Johnny Fairplay faked the death of his grandmother in order to gain sympathy on the show. I'm being told by TMZ that Johnny Fairplay's grandmother has actually died. And this is not a gimmick or for sympathy on a reality TV show. So, R.I.P. Johnny Fairplay's grandmother.
Yeah, for real, rip. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's wild that he faked it though. That's it's one of those things that often gets like publicly shamed online. So
One of my favorite moments from that season of Survivor was when Johnny Fairplay, by the way, that's an alter ego that he uses for pro wrestling. He like did a bit of independent pro wrestling, which is where it comes from. But he was at the finale in LA, and Jeff Probst goes into the audience and starts interviewing this old woman. And they're like, "Oh yeah, this is Johnny Fairplay's actual grandma." And she's like, "Yeah, I was like home watching Golden Girls or something. I wasn't dead."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so troll.
So condolences to Johnny Fairplay. It is sad to hear about the passing of your grandmother, but it is pretty funny that it got coverage from TMZ pretty much because of that massive scam that he pulled on Survivor about 15 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, for real. The loss of a loved one always is, it's never easy, ever. And yeah, I kind of was watching MM2 versus the Metroids, but I actually missed the last two rooms, so I saw the first two only. Here comes Baby Skip, as we all say. So he does the boomer skip, right?
Unfortunately, yeah. And this is about as slow as a boomer skip could get to. This is like 100 jumps.
Oh, man. I've never seen the baby like bounce off the wall like that before at the end.
Yeah, fortunately managed to avoid the baby slow there. It was pretty close, but okay, Eddie is going to underwater wall jump up fish tank here is what I'm guessing. At this point he's just showing off. Or are we getting, what are we getting?
Eddie, it's not worth it. Oh my god, all that height. Alright, MM2 at the
Oh! Dropped it! 30 nearly perfect underwater wall jumps to get to the top, and especially when you have to crest the top of a platform like that, you have to have a really good sense for when to commit to getting on the top of the platform. And see, there you go. So that's what often can happen is you try to get to the top of the platform. You have to essentially commit at a certain point, because if you don't commit early enough, you just drop down. If you don't commit at the correct time, then you don't get high enough, and you don't get over, and now you flatly jump up. Yeah, nicely done there by Eddie.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that was pretty hype to see, at least. It's funny, between MM2 and Eddie, and then having me on commentary, I think we're like 3 of the only people that can actually do that. I can do it on controller. I think Eddie's obviously doing it on a hitbox, which is very different because you really can't break spin on a hitbox or keyboard.
Yeah.
But we had a pretty hype moment at SGL Live in person where I was doing some like controller underwater wall jumps for like Escape from Turian and Main Street and stuff like that, or not Main Street, Fish Tank.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know how many people can actually do it. It's unless you're playing like Map Rando or some really obscure like 98% suitless category, it's kind of not useful at all. But it is fun to be able to pull off.
I'm curious to try it out in this game because no, in any percent for Metroid Fusion, it's optimal to do underwater wall jump after one of the early bosses.
Oh my god! All right, Eddie.
Is he gonna tackle this mountain over here? EWJs.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Eddie just having a little bit of fun here. Meanwhile, MM2 cleanly through and into the last sort of really dangerous spot here in the run, which is stand up. Just needs to make sure to not take to not freeze himself here. He does not have X-ray, so there is no way to stand up from getting locked in the wrong place. So far, the manip looks good. He just has to not jump too high here and freeze the baby at the top right of the screen where it can't get hit by onion rings, but he is A-okay. So that's pretty much GG at this point. We're going to see MM2 take Game 2 and force that rubber match. Game 3, where a roll of the dice will determine whether we're going to see GT Classic 100% or North Korea percent to decide the 2024-2025 SG, oh my goodness, SG, 2024-2025 Super Metroid Multi-Category Tournament Champion.
We got Eddie finally at Botswoon. You can still make a comeback. We'll just take the world's greatest throw at this point. Okay, really though. So I guess another animal save is coming through since M2 did do it game 1.
Get your guesses in chat. What are we gonna have, folks? Are we having 100%? Are we having GT Classic? Are we having North Korea %? All three, I think, will give us very fun and competitive matchups. GT Classic, obviously, just an absolute sprint. North Korea, about an hour long, and has some of the really fun and tricky tech that you see in RBO for Suitless Meridia, but also will probably give us a moon dance opportunity for that early clip to get through into Edikuns, and then 100%, which is just an all-out hour and 15-minute slugfest of executing at the highest possible level.
Yep. Collecting everything. Oh, M2, no animals this time.
All right, folks, get your GGs in chat. It is official, finishing in first place with a very solid 1:10.07 is mm2nescartridge, just missing the 109. That is an excellent time for this route. You could realistically get like 108 or something with this route, maybe even a little lower, but a 110 in a race with the gauntlet pickup is really, really solid. And there's officially the forfeit from Eddie. So we are going to have Inertia roll us our final race room. We'll see if these runners take a brief break, and we are going to wait on bated breath to see what that RNG is going to roll us for our game 3. Ryan, I think in the effort of getting the restream set up and for our runners to take a break, maybe we can stand up ourselves, grab some water, and come back in just a couple minutes for game 3.
Yeah. All right, we'll see y'all in a bit. Be right back.
Stay tuned, folks. We'll see you on the other side for Game 3, MM2 NES Cartridge versus Eddie Grand Championships of this multi-category tournament.